Good morning, class.
Good morning, Teacher Oyyy.
Mobile Legends did a rework on all types of items, so now we're going to talk about the new defense items. Courage Bulwark. This item has been revamped to give the user an additional active skill which the player can use in battle. Along with its additional 10% CDR, this item grants 10% attack and defense on nearby allies, as well as the active skill called Encourage, which when used will give nearby allies additional 30% movement speed and 20% additional physical and magic damage. This active skill is very useful when used in team fights and will definitely give your team a boost in battle. This item is good to use on supports as well as some tanks if you want to add extra punch to your team. Wings of the Apocalypse Queen. I never understood how anyone could equip this item since it is literally Alice's wings, which while she already has it, doesn't give her the effects you can get when equipping this. Anyway, this item's passive has been reworked and now it gives the user 50% damage reduction plus additional 30% lifesteal whenever your HP drops below 40%. Talk about a serious lifesaver. Unfortunately, this effect now has a duration of only 5 seconds and has a cooldown of 50 seconds. What a letdown. So is this item still useful? This item can still be a lifesaver in most situations. The 10% CDR is good too, plus the high HP is good. Better use this now on DPS heroes which will rely on lifesteal to save their lives in times of need. Thunderbolt! This item became a favorite item of both tanks and fighters alike. I even use it on some of my mages. It gives useful stats such as additional high HP and 10% CDR, and now add it up with its cool passive which now deals bonus true damage based on your max HP, while slowing nearby enemy movements. This is super useful for heroes that usually has high HP such as Hylos, but it's still useful in lots of heroes most of the times. Sky Guardian Helmet! This new item gives the most additional HP of all items, but also super expensive for tanks. However, its passive is so useful that once you have it along with other defense items, you'll almost never to die again. After several seconds of not getting damage, you recover HP gradually until full. It's like having a packet healing fountain everywhere. Get ganked somewhere and manage to survive, full HP again in no time. Get damage in team fight, full HP again in no time. But make sure when you use this item, you already have some defensive items first, so you won't get burst out and die easily. Oracle's passive had a rework. It no longer heals you every time you get hit, but now it gives you the passive called Bless, which raises your healing effects and shield absorption for 25%, along with 10% CDR and a nice chunk of HP. Note that this item does not affect heals from lifesteal and spell vamp. This item is best used with heroes that heals and grants shields such as Estes, Lolita, Uranus, and even Aldous. Oh, it's pronounced Uranus and Aldous. Twilight Armor! Pushing! This new item has lots of controversy because of its passive, and Moonton has already done lots of tweaks to this item. Excuse me, class. At the time of this video, this item's passive works like this. Physical damage will not exceed 900 points once every 4 seconds. This change in passive is now actually kinda useful, since the first big damage you get will be reduced up to only 900. Might save your life a lot if used on the type of hero that goes in and out of the battlefield. So other than this discussed items, most other items stayed just the same. So we'll now go to the next subject. Item combination. Ultimate Lightning. This build will give you the most damage utilizing the magic item Lightning Truncheon. Dominance Ice and Twilight Armor gives you a whole lot of mana, which will make Lightning Transient's passive really deadly. You can use this on heroes that specializes in poking, such as Kagura, Chang'e, Alice, or even Selena, to dish out high magic damage on your pokes and still give you the protection you might need. Crazy HP. This build concentrates on giving your hero a crazy amount of HP. Using this build will fully utilize the passive of Cursed Helmet as well as the true damage from Thunderbolt. With this build, you'll deal high damage all the while being tanky. This also gives your tanks faster wave clearing, which will definitely help your team win the game. This is actually my main build for Alice. You can use this also on tanks that needs to be close to enemies when fighting. Fountain of Youth! Sky Guardian Helmet and Oracle is a good item combo. This will make the helmet's passive heal you up faster than you could recall. Athena's shield is also a good item to pair with Oracle since it will boost the shield granted by that item, as well as immortality, which will boost the shield after resurrection. CDR Key. Many defense items are now blessed with cooldown reduction, so building CDR for your tanks is now easier than ever. You can take any of these with you for the sweet skill spamming. A tip on building your tanks. There are lots of tank users out there who don't know how to adjust their builds depending on enemy team composition. One good example is there are times when your enemies don't have a magic damager on their team, but the tank is still build magic resist items. Magic resist items against full physical damage team is useless even if they have useful passive, so I usually build my tanks with these three categories. Number 1. Mage Heavy. This build category is for enemy team with lots of heavy magic user in their team. Usually, if enemies have more than one mage on their team, or they have magic damage supports and tanks plus their main mage. This will help your tank not to be burst out immediately by the heavy magic damage from enemies. Number 2. One Mage. This category is for enemies with only one mage on their team. I usually build only one item with magic resist for that only one magic damage dealer on the enemies. That one mage alone won't burst you down, so you have to focus your defenses against the other physical damagers. Number 3. No Mage. This category is for noob enemy teams who don't know how to adjust their heroes. Just build full armor. Tanks will be almost unkillable, that's not a word, with this build when enemies don't have a mage. Your whole team will have an advantage over them by making at least one item with armor along with their usual builds. You'll immediately know if your teammate is a noob if they still build magic resist item when enemies are full of physical damagers. So for my go-to tanks, these are my initial build categories, which I can immediately switch to once I get to know the enemy composition, making tanking easier. And with all that, I'll share with you my builds with my favorite tanks. I hope you find this useful. Okay, it's time already. For your assignment, please answer this question on the board in the comment section below. Bye now, class dismissed.